Good night, Kino. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My guest this evening is the outstanding and former track star from Titchfield High School and also former coach of Dinthill Technical High School, Coach Regina Montague. Coach, welcome to the program.
Good
And
evening.
and just to get started, we're going to get right into things. Just tell me a little bit about your childhood and which parish is Regina Montague from?
Right. Good evening, Heather, and thank you so much for having me on the program this evening. I am from the parish of Portland. I was born in this district, Hart Hill. And while at Hart Hill, I attended Windsor Castle Primary School. Now, this primary school is 2 miles away from where I live. So we had to walk to school every morning, 2 miles, walk back home every evening, 2 miles. And interestingly, we had to get to school early because we had to go for what back in the day called inspection. What is this inspection? When you go to school, you have to form in the line, and the teacher would go student to student to student, showing your nails, showing your teeth, looking at your hair, seeing if you're well groomed for class. And then you said, okay, go ahead, and you would go to your class. I found that to be something that really helped to groom us, to what we are today. So I do give credit to my former teachers for that. Nowadays, we don't do that, but I think a little of that is needed in the schools these days.
Wow, I've never heard about that before. Inspection before classes?
Right. When you go to school, you form your line outside, and the teachers would go student to student and inspect you to make sure you're groomed, properly groomed for class. Very interesting.
Wow, yeah, a very interesting exercise. But
Yes.
but coach, a little birdie told me, and I also did my research, and I have evidence, that you were actually a track and field star back in high school. Let us talk a little bit about that chapter before we get to you as a coach. What was your inspiration?
Okay. From early days at primary school, we had our sports day. And from then, I would be winning the races. So the potential was there. I had that talent. Well, passed the common entrance and went to Titchfield High School now. While at Titchfield, our PE teacher, Mr. and Mrs. Playford, they were expatriates from England. So during sports day or PE classes, they would spot the students who, they thought had the talent to run. And of course, I was one of those. So Playford used to take us to track meets all over. And of course, I can remember that first track meet I went to. I wore a pair of slippers to the track meet.
Slippers.
Yes, when it was time for me to run, I kick off the slippers, went to the lineup, and I was told you cannot run barefooted. So while Mr. Playford was there arguing with the officials, I knew I went to run, so I was going to run. So I went, put back on the slippers, went back to the lineup, and they allowed me to run in the slippers. I won the race. But
You
after that, we knew we wouldn't do that again. I would have to have a sneakers or something. But that was an experience.
Wow, winning a race in your
In
slippers.
my slippers, my first track meet. Never
No,
forget that one.
no, I see why you're such an outstanding athlete. You're a Titchfield girl.
Yes.
Titchfield High School is a big thing because Titchfield actually won girls' champs 2 years back to back, 1963 and 1964. Tell me a little bit about your journey at Titchfield as a star girl, not only as a track athlete, but also as a track and field athlete.
Okay. In 63 and 64, I was not at school, but I know we actually did win girls' championships at that time. When I was there, we participated in Eastern Champs, and that had all the schools in the East participating. And of course, we won Eastern champs every year that I was at school. We were the dominant school in track and field in the East. St. Mary High School was our close rival.
St. Mary
But
want to hear that.
close rival. But we defeated. We always beat them. And then we had girls champs. And back in the day, you didn't have girls champs and boys championships together. We had girls champs, before, and then boys champs after. And I would win. I dominated my class from class 4 up to class 1, when I left school. So I was always within the 100 and the 200 meters. Did some long jump too, but I never made an impact there. My specialty was the sprints, the 100 and the 200. And back when you were in class 4 at that time, we didn't run the 200 meters, It was the 100 and the 150 yards. But now the class 4 kids are running the 200.
Yes.
And they're managing it, I think.
Yes, they are. You're right about that. They're actually, a matter of fact, class 4 is now doing um the 100 and the 200. I haven't seen the 150 meters at champs. I don't even know if it was even an event in the last 20 or maybe 30
Yeah, a couple
years.
of years. Yeah. It
Mhm.
wasn't 150 meters, they call it 150 yards.
150
Yes,
yards.
that's what it was, a 150 yards. Yes, yes, interestingly.
Wow.
And at Girls Champs, you know, Excelsior High School and Manning School were the two strong schools then. We never won Girls Champs while I was at Titchfield, but we did put up a very good showing. And I would like to mention here my role model, Rose Allwood, who went on to be an Olympian, and
Indeed,
I
indeed.
think she was the first Olympian from Titchfield High School, a
Yeah.
very good athlete and someone who led the way for most of us who were behind her in school.
You know something? I'm so happy that you mentioned Rosie because I've been trying to find out which schools some of the earlier Olympians went to. And Rosie Allwood was one of the names that I was struggling to find out where she went to high school. So thank you very much for
You're
that
welcome.
information. That
Welcome. You're
information
welcome.
is
Mhm,
very, very important to me. But
mhm.
girls' champs back when you were competing, because girls champs and boys champs merged 1999, and
Right?
of course you would have been out of school way
Yes.
before that time,
Yes.
but girls champs and boys and girls champs is a big deal, especially now. What was it like for you competing on that stage?
Well, to be honest, it was in the early years, it was scary. But as soon as I started winning, I knew that I had the potential. And, Mr. Playford, the coaches, would really give us some good training. I built my confidence. And so I was able to go year after year and dominate my class. And speaking about training at school, every afternoon after school, we would be so ready to get onto that training field. And we used to travel to school. I traveled to school in the mornings and evenings on the school bus. Some evenings after training, the school bus would leave a group of us. And what we would have to do to get home is we walk from the school down to where we called Brian's Bay. We passed Bone Brook. Bone Brook now had this place that had a banana processing plant. So the trucks would take the banana from St. Mary up, and the first truck going down in the evenings, we would try and hitch a ride and get a ride home. It was fun then, but looking back now, was dangerous. But we did get home. We did
it's
get home.
It's funny that you said competing at girls' champs was scary because you were a force. You broke the class 2 girls 100-meter in 1973. You did not stop there. You won the 100, you won the 200, and You won the long jump and you became the champion girl for class 2.
Yes, I did.
Tell me about that achievement.
I am still proud of that achievement. Still very proud. I think I did surprise myself with the long jump though at that time. But I worked hard and I really had the confidence in winning the 100 and the 200. And I was more or less encouraged by my teammates because I don't know, but they looked up to me, as a leader. And I really appreciated that. And so my confidence was there. And I feel very proud of that achievement to this day.
Beautiful. As
Mhm.
a sprinter, you were a sprinter and, of course, a jumper. And we have quite of those right now in Jamaica. But what was the training like for you to be training for a track event and to be training for a field event?
Okay. We would train on the school compound, but sometimes we would go to the park. Harder Park is the name of it. And because there was more space there, the school ground was a bit small. So we would go out to Carter Park. And sometimes the coach would let us compete with the boys to sort of build up that sprinting and
Mhm.
pull you along. So what they say, you peak, at the right time for the championships. So the training was a bit rigorous, but we enjoyed doing it. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah. And of
That's
course, at the time, our principal, Mortimer Geddes, passed away, but he would make sure we have some nutrition products. They would give us like, Milo and vitamins and things like those to help to build us up, make us strong to perform. Mhm.
that year when you became champion girl for class 2, Titchfield and Dinthill actually tied for fifth at girls champs. Can you remember who were some of your main competitors? Who were some of your main rivals?
My main rivals came from Excelsior High School. I remember Marcia Swaby. I was trying to remember the name of the other athlete, but I can't right now. But Excelsior was really that dominant force. And it was a school that would drive fear. When you go on the track and the Excelsior student was in it, you knew you had to put out that extra effort to win the race, which I did.
Yeah, Excelsior actually won girls champs that year. They actually won
Yes,
4 girls champs
yes, they did.
in a row. So they actually won that year, and
Yes.
you're right.
Mhm.
But as a standout in the East, I've heard about quite a few track and field standout in the East who have also gone on to the Olympics after high school. Where did the next chapter take you?
Okay, after high school, I went to CAS, now UTech. I went in to do my teacher training in the technical education department. But of course, I continued with my track and field, and our coach, Dennis Johnson, a very, very good coach for sprinting,
Yeah.
was really good. So he would take us in, he put me in and started training. We would do some the training there now was a little harder because he would get us up in the mornings. We would have to run up Garden Town Road and we would train mornings, and then in the evenings we had to go back on the track and do our sprinting. It was like the team there was more family oriented because Mr. Johnson had that in him. He built that team spirit. So you all felt like you belong. And he would encourage and each would encourage each other to do well. To do well. And that was an experience that I will always cherish while at cast. Yes.
Did you ever dream or think of going further in your track and field career, whether to the Olympics or any international meets?
I did go to the Carifta Games and I won a gold at the Carifta Games one year, got a bronze in the 200 meters. So I did go to Carifta. I also represented the country at the Pan Am Games and the Commonwealth Games. Never made it to the Olympics. Not for want of trying, But if there are people better than you, then you just have to, settle for what is there for you. But I would have liked to have gone to the Olympics, but I never made it.
Can you remember any of the athletes who would have been in during that time that would have challenged you for a spot on the Olympic team?
Byfield was someone who would have challenged me for a spot there.
Mhm.
Dorothy Scott, my friend, was a good athlete from Veertech. And
Yes,
Veertech put out some really good athletes, really,
indeed,
really good
indeed.
athletes. Yes, so those are some of the persons. Marcia Swaby too. She was an Excelsior person. So some of those persons did prove to be better. I admire them. I will always speak highly of them. And they were good. I tried, but never made it.
Okay, great. So you had a great champs career and junior career. And as you said, you competed for the country up to a Commonwealth Games,
Yes,
which
yes.
is a big achievement. Now,
Mm.
let us talk about Regina Montague as a coach. Dinthill High School. You are from Portland. Portland is in the east.
Yes,
Dinthill Technical High School is in central Jamaica, St.
yes,
Catherine.
yes.
How did that journey happen from Portland to Dinthill?
Okay. Dinthill had a principal at the time, Mr. Enos Barrett, who would scout for teachers for the school. And he is the one who actually got me to be at Dinthill Technical. He knew I was a teacher in home ec, but he needed someone to help with the track team. So he asked and I accepted, and I went to Dinthill to teach home economics and to assist with the track team. And that is where my coaching experience started. And I had a team of girls who were so focused, so disciplined. They had this winning spirit in them. And so the coaching was made easy. I even ran with them sometimes when we go cross country just to encourage them. And it was fun because then I was much younger, stronger, and just coming off my running career. So I would work with them. And we had girls like Normally Murray, Frederica Wright, Marcia Tate, who
I'm
we
going to
knew
ask.
went on.
I'm going
Yes,
to ask you about your athlete later on. Though. Hold
okay,
that thought. Hold that
okay,
thought.
okay, okay, yes.
How has your experience as an athlete influenced your coaching approach, your philosophy, your beliefs, your morals? How did it help you when you started coaching?
All right, to be honest, I patterned what I learned from Dennis Johnson as my coach. That is the strategy. His strategy is what I used when I was at Dinthill coaching. So because he was successful, and I it's like I patterned him so much. I studied his attitude, and it worked for me. And I always love children. So it's like I took these girls under my wings as a mother to them. And they saw me as that too. They saw me as a mother. You speak to them now, they will say, that caring attitude that I had for them. And it's like at one point, the principal rented a house, and all the girls, the athletes were there. I was their house mother, their coach, and their teacher. So we had that relationship, and it helped to form that team spirit, that winning spirit. We tried hard to win a champs. We never did win girls' champs at Dinthill, but we really tried hard. Vertec, Vertec gave us.
As you talk about Veer Technical, your friend Dorothy Scott,
Yes,
genius,
yes.
she is on the live and she said, "Hey Gina, let them know that you beat out my butt and beat our butt at champs and was the top high school girl until Maureen, what is this?
Batshaw,
Maureen
Batshaw.
Gotcha. Yes. until Maureen came on the scene and she said she's enjoying the show. So
Okay.
yes,
Hi,
as you
Dorothy.
yeah, Dorothy is right there. She's saying hello, my friend. So you can
Okay.
continue with your thought on
Yes, yes.
very technical.
Yes, I was saying that Veer was our strong competition. We ran second to Veer 3 years in a row. No matter the strategy, because we tried, no matter the strategy we used, Mr. Francis at the principal and Mr. Wade, the coach, they had a better strategy and they were always beating us. But it was close rivalry, friendly rivalry, no animosity or anything. We went to champs, we did our best, and that was it. We just couldn't beat them. You know.
Yeah, Veer Technical is a powerhouse. 21 titles won. They are way ahead with titles.
Yes, yes, yes.
21. The closest
Mhm.
school to them is 10 titles, which is Homewood Technical. So
Homewood, yeah.
they Veer Technical is way ahead. But as a former athlete, you must have encountered various coaching styles throughout your career, as you just said.
Mhm.
What aspect of those coaching style did you use while you were at Dinthill?
Um, as I said before, Mr. Johnson was an
Mm-hmm.
influence in my
Yeah.
coaching style, and his sprinting was what I really fashioned because I was a sprinter. And Mr. Johnson had this way of even persons who you would say mediocre in running, when he spoke to you, when he was finished talking to you, you would feel like a world class sprinter. He had that in him. And with that mindset, once he put you in that frame of mind that you can win, you always go out and do well. And I use that strategy also when I was coaching the girls. Just having meetings with them, just encouraging them, giving them words of advice and, you know, talking to them, not only just doing what was required on the field, but also in conversation with them. And it helped. It helped.
Transitioning from an athlete to a coach, how difficult was that for you? Was it difficult any at all?
Not very difficult. Not very difficult because when I started coaching, it's like that athlete was still there. So I would do train with the girls. I wouldn't just send them out there. Sometimes, that urge would come in you to go run a race with that one, jog with this little one while you're running, talking, encouraging. So it wasn't very difficult at all. No, it wasn't. It was just moving from one space to another space, but taking your time to do so. I didn't do it just one off, just move slowly into that transition. Yeah.
You would have coached athletes with different personalities, different skill set. How did you, as a coach, how did you know which event is the best event for your athlete, like a quarter miler versus a sprinter? How were you able to tell?
Okay. What happened during the physical education? I would liaison with the PE teachers. Remember, I was a home ec teacher, so I only took over in the afternoons. So I would liaison with the PE teachers and say to them, this athlete or that athlete, what do you think? This child running here, when you have classes, tell me which child you would think has the potential to run. Once they would identify those students and let me know, when I go to training in the evenings, I would do like some test run, like a trial, something like a trials. So you would identify which one is running faster, which one you could coach to do a quarter mile, and then that helps, just doing those test runs and move them from one phase to the other. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Many programs have had their struggles mainly because of lack of funding. Funding is a big thing, but for you, how difficult or easy was it for you to get support from the administration, the principal, and the community itself?
The Linstead community was very, very strong with the athletes. And I think because they were doing so well. Some of the athletes would come from like Bogwalk, some would come from Uriton. So they were known in the area. Funding for my track team was never a problem.
Wow.
Mr. Venus Barrett was very, very hands on with the track team. He would sometimes go scout for athletes from like primary schools, secondary schools, and bring them in. And whatever Regina Montague said to Mr. Barrett, I need for the track team, he never did hesitate. So we were able to do very well. I'll just give you this example. At 2 years in a row, we didn't buy our sweatsuits for champs. We made them. I said to Mr. Barrett, listen, if you get us the material, we will make our own suits. And he was ever so willing. He bought us the material, everything. And I would sit with those girls, the athletes themselves, cut the patterns, make, and I'm sorry I don't have a picture of that team in those sweatsuits to show you tonight. I'm so sorry. Beautiful.
Wow.
So we never had I never had a problem with Mr. Barrett. No.
One of your student is on the live, Marlene Green. Was Marlene Green a troublemaker?
Oh no, she wasn't.
I know you would say
Marlene,
no.
Marlene was never a troublemaker. Marlene was like the helpful one. Whatever we needed, Marlene was ever ready to go get. Miss Montague, what do you need? What can I do? She was that person. Marlene was that person. Thank you, Marlene. You
Wow.
helped us along the way. You were never that great athlete, but you were that great support. We'll never forget you. Thank you ever so much.
Beautiful, beautiful. What about the alumni, the past student association? Were they involved in the development and funding?
Very strong support. Very strong
Wow.
support. Very, very strong. And I think to this day, Dinthill alumni is very strong. Yes, they were very strong support. And some of the alumni were athletes themselves, past athletes, and some of them were footballers too. So they were ever so encouraging. Some of them would show up in the evenings to give assistance with the training. If we wanted to go to a meet, they would provide that transportation. They
I
were
was
even
just
there.
I was just
Yes,
going to ask you that
yes,
question.
yes,
That was my next question.
yes,
For
yes.
the team to travel to events,
Mhm.
I know that it can be expensive, but how was it for you? But you just answered the
Oh
question.
yes, past students would help. Mr. Barrett would pay, vans. They had those minibuses at the time, and he would get those. And if we needed more transportation, past students would be there. We'd call on them, and they would be ever so willing. I really never experienced the problem with resources and support
What
while at
about what
Titchfield.
about nutrition?
Okay, yes, we had this nutrition program. The school, the canteen, would provide meals for every lunch. Every lunchtime, the athletes would go into a line by themselves and get their lunch. So all that support was there for the athletes.
If you had the opportunity to coach another school, would you still choose Dinthill?
I would go to Titchfield High School this time.
You would go to
I would
Titchfield,
yes, I would definitely go to Titchfield. Yes,
your alma
yes,
mater. Yeah.
yes, definitely yes.
Tell me a little bit about parents and guardians of student athletes. What was it like for you? Were they supportive?
Very, very supportive. And when we had to go to champs, central champs, or girls' champs, they would be there. They would travel with us. Some of them would stay over with us, even stay over with us to assist, the children, like we go to meet, putting on their numbers, getting, some children would be a little jittery, talking to them, giving them a hug, encouraging them. Yes, we had parents who were Very supportive, very, very supportive.
So it was
Admire
like
them for that. Yes.
Dintill's track and field program and stuff. It was like a family, a community.
Yes, you have said it right. Like a family, a group of people, past students, teachers, coaches, athletes, parents, all together. You know, just forming that group, that strong support group that made the children do well. They did well. As I tell you, I to this day I am sorry we didn't win champs at least 1 year, but because of the effort that was put into the program. Yeah.
Your achievement as a coach, and even after you finish coaching, tell me a little bit about your champs achievement as a coach. Earlier you said that you guys get very, very close, but very technical would not let you guys in. How proud are you?
I am very, very proud. And after I left Dinthill, I would have done some more coaching had I not gone abroad, because the experience with the students is one that I will always cherish. You know, I never had children then, but it's like these girls were my own. You know, we encouraged each other. I encouraged them, they encouraged me. You know, and sometimes, I would be down, and it's one of them coming around to crack a joke and just change everything. So I the experience after leaving coaching, I have some regrets that I didn't go on, but it is what it is.
Tell me about just give me the names of some of your star athletes that you had at Dintil during your time as a coach.
Frederica Wright, I will always talk about that girl. Very strong. Came from Bogwalk Secondary to Dinthill. Very strong. 100. She did 200, and she was a standout in the 400. But what happened is that I had to decide which event I would put Frederica. And because of her strength and that determination, she became my 200 and 400. I'm telling you, nobody beat Frederica over that 400, especially when we're a 4 by 400 meter. That last leg, no matter where you are in front of Frederica, she's coming to get you, and she will get you and pass you on the line.
What era
Normally,
what era was she? Was she in the 80s or 90s?
80s. She was in the
80s.
80s. She was in the
80s.
80s. She was in the
80s.
80s. When you went to Penn Relay, it was 1980. She was in the 80s. Yes, yes. Another, Normally Murray, a very, very good runner. She left school a little bit early, but she was a very strong runner. And with Normally, she had a leadership quality. She would be like the role model for the other athletes. Marcia Tate, no, she went on to be an Olympian 1984, 1988. Marcia left my hands and went into the Olympics. I am so proud of her. And I'm hoping that at some point you will interview Marcia. Yeah,
Yes,
very, very strong. Yes.
I have her. Yes, she is on my list. She
Oh,
is on my
good.
list.
Very
Yes,
good. Very good.
yes.
Yes, yes.
Marcia Tate is on my list. Yeah,
Mhm.
she is. She is.
Okay.
Were you the coach of Elva Goldburn?
No, Elva came on after I
Okay.
stopped coaching. But I know Elva. I know
Yes,
Elva, a very strong girl, too, very strong athlete.
a
Yes, I know.
very a very talented one also.
Very, very talented. And
Yeah.
she went on to the Olympics.
Yes, she
Yes,
did.
she
She
did.
did.
Yes, she did.
Yes,
Yes, yes,
yes.
yes.
She represented Jamaica at the highest level. A matter of fact, Elva was a sprinter and a jumper like yourself.
Yes, she was a very good jumper.
Yes.
I remember her as that good long jumper. Yes, she did extremely well in
Yeah.
the long
Her
jump.
final year at Champs 1999, she actually won. I think she won the triple, the 100, 200
And the long
and the
jump.
drums.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
Aileen Bailey talk about her a lot. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yes. I
Yeah.
know the name Aileen Bailey. I never
Yes.
met her. Never met her.
Yeah.
She's a
Aileen is
beer tech.
another is a Vertec. Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Another outstanding one
Yes, yes, yes.
from Vertec. As you said earlier, Vertec keeps pushing them out. But let us talk about a little bit about retirement from the sport and the coaching. How did you know when it was time to retire?
Oh, when I had my first child, I that was the time when I had to stop, when I had my daughter. But I still follow track and field. Sometimes I will still go to meets, and I do know the names of most of the athletes now. So I still keep up with my track and field. I really love to see what our athletes are doing now. They are doing extremely well. Very proud of them, and I just hope that this will continue. The sport will continue to grow. Mhm.
I think it will. It will. And if you look at the babies who are in the wings waiting, they
Mhm.
are not normal. If you
Not at
look
all.
at the babies in the wings waiting, the Clayton twins,
Right.
Brianna Liston, Serena Cole, Alana Reed, so many
Right.
of them, Kerika Hill,
Yes.
especially on the women's side.
Yes.
Auntie, they're not normal. They're
They are not, and I'm
no.
just praying that they will get their day when they
Yes,
can shine,
yes,
and,
yes.
and do well. And I was listening to your program on Sunday evening, the history. We're coming from 1908 to now,
Yes.
and every era is like we improve, we get better and better and better, and that is so very good for track and field in Jamaica.
Indeed, 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 indeed. Looking back at your career in track and field, as an athlete, is there anything you would have done differently?
Yes, definitely. I would not have stopped running when I started working. I would continue with my track career because so many people, continue to age 34, 35, and so I stopped a little early. And that I do regret because I still had it in me to compete and do well. But then back in the day, people would say you're old, so get out of the sport, and you listen to them. But that is one regret I do have. I could have continued and done well, a couple more, 3, 4 more years for sure. For
You're
sure.
right, because people are going even older now, especially the women. I mean,
Yes,
Shelly and
definitely.
Fraser Price last year at age 35 is the oldest woman to win the 100-meter at a global meet.
Can you
Merlene
imagine?
Ottey was
Merlin
there.
Auntie. Yes.
Merlene Ottey went to 6 Olympics for Jamaica and
Right.
one for Slovenia, 7 Olympic Games.
Yes.
Shelly
Yes.
Ann will be 37 this year and she's going to retain her title. She's
And
going back to
running
get,
so well.
and she's running well. She's not
Very
just
well.
she's not just making up numbers. She is
Mhm.
actually one of the favorites.
Making an impact at
Yeah,
age 37.
at
Can you
age
imagine
37. Yep.
doing so well? And, I just hope others would continue. Don't listen to the naysayers. Follow your heart
Follow your
and
heart.
do what you know. Your body will tell you when.
Indeed,
Yes,
indeed.
yes, yes.
As a coach, is there anything you would have done differently looking back at your coaching career?
I would have tried not to just stick to focus on sprinting because that was really my specialty. It's the sprinting, the sprinters, giving them more time in training, focus more. I would probably try and broaden my horizon and do more with other athletes because maybe, just maybe, I might have shortchanged some athletes with the potential to do like a 800 or a 1500, but I was more focused on the sprints. And that I probably would change if I were to do this all over again.
We do female coaches are not really coming to the fore. Most times I think they're in the background. What are some of the things that you would say to a female who wants to coach track and field?
Go for it. Don't let the male dominance hinder you. Because if you know in your heart that you have it to help an athlete or help some athletes, go for it. I mean, when you start, I'm telling you, you might have some resistance because that's what it is in male dominated areas, in sports or whatever. But go for it. Put your hand, get a one athlete and work with that person and make your name, get your name recognition, and then you can build on that. So don't let the male dominance hinder you. Do what you know you can do. Yeah.
I totally agree with you because we all know that it is a male dominated space, but the female coaches are not really coming to the fore, and I would really love to see more female coaches coming forward.
Yeah.
Where is Coach Montague these days? What are you working on? What are some of the projects that you're working on, if you're working on anything?
Yes, I am. I am working with the Titchfield Track and Field Club. We
Wow.
are trying our best, a group of fast students. We are trying our best to rebuild Titchfield to its former glory. We were the best in the East, and now we are not making that impact. So we are trying our very best, working with the principal, who is very much involved with the team. Thank you, Mr. Thompson, and working with the coaches. We have this program that we started last year. It's a feeding program where we are trying to give nutrition, supplements, meals, juices to our athletes. We do need help in that area. Our resources are very, very thin. So if I could take the chance and use this platform right now
Sure,
to
go ahead.
speak to the alumni, Titchfield alumni, we are asking you please come on board and give us the help that we need. Our nutrition program is in need of assistance, and some of our athletes right now in training need running shoes. So if you could just please come on board, heed this call, and help us. You can call the school, speak to the principal. He has all the information. He will guide you. So kindly join us to help bring back our school to its former glory in track and field.
Do you guys have like a weekly meeting, a space that you meet, whether online or on a phone call or somewhere to have discussions?
Yes, we do have. It's not like a monthly or weekly, but as needs arise, there we do have a meeting. Or leader Domery, will call for a meeting, and the areas can be discussed, and we try and see, you know, where we need to strengthen. But it's not like a monthly, weekly, or bi-weekly. No.
Okay. Okay. So I hope all the Titchfield Heights heard that. Coach Montague is calling you guys out. They need some help. They want to bring back Titchfield to the number one spot in Eastern Jamaica. So
Right.
please come on out and support your alma mater. But Coach Montague, you're not only an educator and a coach, you are also a writer. Tell me, a little birdie told me that you are the author of a book. Tell us a little bit about your
Yes,
book.
I spent 2.5 years putting my rest, and I must thank my daughters for encouraging me to do so. I have a passion for cooking. I really do love cooking, and I have tried recipes, not only our Jamaican recipes, but recipes from other culture, and they all taste very good. So I decided to write this book, and it took me a while. I started, stopped, started again, and then I kept going. And now I have published my book. It came out earlier This year, it's Regina's cookbook. It has Jamaican recipes and a few from other cultures. I would encourage anyone to pick up a copy because you won't regret it. You won't regret it. And they are moving well.
Do you have a copy with you now?
I
Okay,
do have one
show
I could
us.
hold up, yes.
Okay,
So
okay.
this is the book.
What's the name of it? Regina's cookbook.
Regina's cookbook, yes.
Okay, guys, please go on out and get your copy of Coach Montague's book. I'll be getting a copy for myself because I heard that in it you have the recipe for stew peas,
Yes, I do.
curry goat,
Yes.
ackee and saltfish.
All
You
those goodies, yes.
yes, you name
Oxtail
it.
and beans, yes.
You name it, the whole works. Okay, Coach Montague, we are going to play a quick little game. I'm going to test your memory a little bit. What what is some of your most memorable moments competing at champs and for Jamaica as a junior?
Memorable moments at
Hmm.
champs was
Hmm.
that class 2 year when I was a champion girl for class 2. Another memorable moment was in class 1, my final year at champs, when I won the 100 and the 200. And, I felt so elated, but had my moments when I was regretting leaving school and having to move on. And at Carifta, that year when I won the 200 meters at Carifta and surprised everybody, because I don't think or even our officials expected me to win that year, but I did win the 200 meters. And that's a memorable moment. I will always cherish that gold medal.
And
Yes,
you should. You should.
yes.
Well deserved. What are some of your most memorable moments coaching?
Coaching,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, that first year when we ran second to Veer Technical, and we said to ourselves, okay, if we come second this year, we can surely beat them the next time. And we tried, but we didn't. And also, Gibson relays. When I took those girls to Gibson, I cannot remember the year, but that 4x400 meter team, the entire stadium was on their feet. And I can just remember the goosebumps, the great feeling of seeing those girls going around the track, beating all the big names, the big Veer, the big Excelsior, the big, big St. Jago. We beat them. Yes, those are some of my memorable moments. And we also went to Penn Relays in 1980. We didn't win a gold, but we got two silver. And that too was something that I think was great achievement for the students.
What a story.
Mhm.
I want you to name me some of your top athletes and the event that they competed in.
Marcia Tate, 200 and 400. Frederica Wright, 200 and 400. Normally Murray, the sprinter. I had Sandra Whitfield, the long jumper. She did extremely well. Very short, like a Megan Tapper. Very short, but was very powerful in the pitch. She did extremely well also. Those are
Wow.
some of my top athletes. Yes, remember them.
Wow, what a story you have, Coach Montague. These are the stories I like to hear, and just your contribution to our track and field legacy. You have contributed to our legacy as an athlete, and also as an educator, and also as a coach. So you have contributed to our legacy. You Olympians has passed through your hands. You are responsible for the early development of some of our Olympians. What a legacy, Regina Montague. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for telling your story. It is a beautiful story, and thank you for giving back to our rich legacy in track and field that started in the 1908 and kicks off with our first medal won at a global championship in 1930 at the CAC Games. And of
Yes.
course, by the time we got to the Olympics in 1948, them couldn't stop us.
No, no.
We
We
break
keep
down
going.
all, yeah, we were like a tsunami,
Yes, yes. We
you
keep
know,
going.
and we continue to go, we continue to go. So Coach Montague, thank you very much for sharing with me tonight. And of course, your good friend Dorothy, she was on the discussion, bigging you up, your student Marlene, and everybody else who listened to your story. Thank you so much, Coach Montague. Auntie Regina. As of now, I'll be calling you Auntie Regina.
That's okay. That's okay.
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much for having me on the program this evening. And I pray that you will continue exposing, the former athletes and sometimes even the present athletes. Your program is making an impact. And I will continue to share your space with others so they can listen and learn from you. Thank you
Thank
very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Coach. I'm very humble. Thank you so much. And you enjoy the rest of your evening. And of course, we will be enjoying the World Championships together coming up in a few weeks'
In a
time.
few
In
weeks.
less
Yes.
than, I think it's less than 2 weeks that the World Championship kicks off. Thank
Yes.
you very much, Coach, for being here tonight.
Thanks a lot and good night.
Thank you. Guys, thank you very much for being here. Of course, I have some announcements before you guys go. But before you guys go, I just want to say thank you to each and everyone for joining from Facebook and also from YouTube. Thank you very much, Kino. Thank you very much, Marlene Green, the nicest student, according to your coach and the teacher, Coach Montague. Thank you all. Thank you, Sandy, for being here. Thanks to Olympian Dorothy Scott Genius for being here. Thank you, Carrie Ann Phillips. And of course, when you hear the name Phillips, you know that it is family. Thank you, Carrie, for being here. Shots of Jamaica, thank you also for being here. Sandy British. I think earlier I saw Shelly. Thank you. But thank you also for earlier I saw Track and Feelings. Thank you very much. um, Thank you, everyone, for being here, wherever you are, wherever you're tuning in from around the world. Thank you very much. And of course, before we go, I have some quick announcements. Okay, the first one is I would like to big up my sponsor. I'd like to bring up my sponsor, Akshev. Thank you very much for coming on board and keeping this program alive. Next week, Next week, I will have two programs. On Tuesday night, I will have Dwayne Extall, who was supposed to be here on July 20th, but because of work obligations, he wasn't able to be here. So, Dwayne Extall, formerly of Wolmer's Boys Standout, will be here with us next week, Tuesday night. And of course, the Thursday night regular show, we will have Dwight Bigger Thomas, formerly of Calabar and Olympian himself. So, guys, you don't want to miss those programs next week. Dwayne Extall on Tuesday and Dwight Bigger Thomas, formerly of Calabar and also an Olympian. Number 3, the World Championship is in Budapest coming up starting August 19th until the 27th. And of course, we will be here to, just to chat and have things going. And of course, number 4, number 4, the quiz, World Championship quiz is coming up August 15th, 16th, and 17th. So on the 16th, on the 15th, we will have a fans quiz. Yes, it will be track and field fans vying for HP, chat track prizes and goodies. On the Wednesday night, we're going to have a special edition, which is the 16th, and this will feature some of our Olympians and some of our athletes. So you don't want to miss our athletes who will be on. We'll have people like Aileen, we'll have people like Dorothy, who is from the 80s Olympics. She went to the Olympics in the 80s. Going, so you'll have Olympians from the 70s and the 80s going up against our Olympians, our millennials. So hopefully that will be a very exciting show. And of course, Thursday night we will climax with another quiz from another set of track and field fans. And guys, we're going to be having a good time. And remember, the quiz will be about the World Championship only and Jamaica's involvement. So where we will be looking at the World Championship from 1983 when it started to date to this year. So do your research. I'll be asking questions like who won, where won, when won, what, how many medals. So guys, please come to have fun. And listen, even if you don't know, don't worry about it, because we're here to learn, and I will be educating you guys on who won medal when, who went to the most world championship, who won the most 100-meter, all of those things. So join me for our quiz, World Champs quiz, on August from the 15th to the 17th. And of course, we will have the World Championship starting on the 19th. So it's just a lot of fun going forward and enjoying, just building up a buzz, creating a buzz and excitement around this World Championship, because of course, we are looking to do big and better things. So guys, thank you very much for being here. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, good evening, wherever you are. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, guys. Marlene Green, big up yourself. Miss Dinthill. Dinthill was in the house tonight. Well, I'll say Dinthill and Titchfield was in the house tonight, because Coach Montague is track and field star, champ star for Titchfield High School. And of course, she coached a Dinthill Technical High School to a second place, 2 second place back to back at girls champs. And of course, many of her athletes went on to become Olympians, and a big deal for Jamaica. So guys, thank you very much. And of course, come next week, Tuesday night, we will have Woolmers in the house with Dwayne Extall, and Thursday night we will have Calabar in the house with Dwight Bigger Thomas. Thank you guys very much, and I am out. Peace. Thank you.